Another question that I get asked all the time, and this feels more relevant now than ever: should I wait for interest rates to come down before I buy? And I know that this feels like the smartest move, but let me explain a couple of things that you may not know about.
Okay, let's go.
Did you know that nearly half of first time home buyers say that they would change something about when they bought their first home? Not the house, not the neighborhood, the process. And that tells me something important. Buyers don't regret buying a house. They regret not being prepared when they did it. If you're thinking about buying a house, even if it's just a maybe someday thought, I want you to stick with me through this video because today I'm going to break down some of the most commonly asked questions that I get from buyers on a weekly basis. And I'm going to do it in a way that makes sense for everybody. No jargon, no pressure, no overwhelming, just straight facts. So here's a quick question for you to consider as we get started. If you found the perfect house tomorrow, would you, as a buyer, feel comfortable making an offer? Or would you feel a little bit stressed or unsure about it? Most of the buyers that I talk to, they feel excited and nervous at the same time, and that's perfectly normal. It's a big deal to buy a house. For many Americans, it's the largest investment that they will ever make. It's a big emotional decision. It's a big financial decision. And absolutely no one teaches you what to do or what steps to take. You're just expected to figure it out as you go along. And that's where the majority of the frustration comes from during the home buying process. One of the biggest challenges that buyers face is simply knowing where to start. Should I talk to the lender first? Should I talk to the realtor first? How much should I spend? What happens if I make the wrong decision? And then you get into it with the paperwork, the timelines, the inspections, the negotiation. It can become overwhelming fairly quickly. Let me ask you this. Have you ever felt like everyone else understands the process, but you're stuck feeling like you're trying to play catch up? Don't feel bad. It's not that you're behind. It's just that you're not informed yet. One of the first questions that I always get asked is, how much house can I afford? And the truth is, that's going to be a very personal decision on your part. So this is where I want you to pause and think. The number that the bank gives you versus the number that feels good in real life is not always going to be the same thing. Just because you're approved for a certain amount doesn't mean that you actually have to spend it. I always encourage my buyers to think about their lifestyle first. What kind of monthly payment would allow you to feel comfortable, sleep at night, knowing that your bills are paid, and still enjoy a quality of life that you want to enjoy? And when you work backwards from that number, everything is going to become much more clear. Another question that I get asked all the time, and this feels more relevant now than ever: should I wait for interest rates to come down before I buy? And I know that this feels like the smartest move, but let me explain a couple of things that you may not know about. Rates are everywhere, especially in the news nowadays. But here's something that I want you to consider. Rates will always change later. So what do I mean by that? Well, rates can be one thing today and another thing tomorrow. However, the one thing that won't change is the price that you pay for the home. If you wait for rates to come down, that means demand is going to go up. And when demand goes up, prices go up. So if you sit around on the fence waiting for that perfect rate to come by, you could end up paying significantly more for the same house than you would have had you made the move now. So let's reframe that into a better question. Does buying the home now in my current situation make sense? Once you paint that picture, everything becomes very clear for you. The next question that I get asked, and this one is super important: what's the first step that we should take as buyers? And the answer is probably going to surprise you. The steps that you should not be taking: you should not be touring homes. You shouldn't be up late at night, sitting in bed, scrolling through Zillow, looking at listings. The first step that you should be taking is reviewing your numbers. You should be talking to a lender, reviewing your credit, understanding how much cash you're going to need to bring to the closing table, finding out how much you're going to be approved for, finding out what your monthly payment is going to be. When you skip this important step, everything feels rushed and everything feels stressful. And worse yet, if you don't know how much you're going to be approved for, what if one night you're scrolling through Zillow and you find this house and it's gorgeous and you absolutely fall in love with it and you say, just based on the pictures, this is the one? Well, what happens if you're not approved for that amount? Then the disappointment sets in and then you give up. So, to summarize all that, would you start a road trip without knowing how much gas you had in the tank? Another question that buyers ask me all the time is, what's the difference between a pre-qualification and a pre-approval? And let me tell you, there is a massive difference. A pre-qualification is usually just information that is verbally given to a lender, and based off the information you give them, they give you this qualification of saying, yeah, this is it. It's just an estimate. A pre-approval, however, is a deep dive into your finances. And in competitive markets, a buyer with a strong pre-approval is the difference between a buyer that's just casually looking and a buyer who is serious, prepared, and ready to move forward with a purchase. And that can absolutely change the way that your offer is received. And then there's inspections. And I just want to take a minute and slow down to explain this properly, because an inspection is not just another box to check. This is the part that is actually important and protects you and helps you to understand the home that you're actually going to purchase. Skipping an inspection to make an offer more attractive might sound tempting, but I can't tell you how many times I've seen buyers make this decision and regret it every single time. Inspections give you information about the house. They give you leverage in negotiations, and most importantly, they give you peace of mind. And peace of mind in a purchase this big is absolutely priceless. Another question that I get asked very often is, when buying a home, do I really need a realtor? And the honest answer is no, you don't. However, when you are coming to the table with this much cash and you are making this big of a purchase, you deserve somebody in your corner that is going to represent your best interests. A good buyer's agent is not here to push you into a purchase or into making a decision. A good buyer's agent is here to be an advisor and a counselor and to give you information and explain your options so that you can make smart and informed choices. Especially when emotions run high, having a steady and experienced guide will make a huge difference in the process for you. Now, here's one thing that I absolutely want you to remember, because this one thing can change your entire experience as a buyer. And I already mentioned it before. The biggest mistake that you can make as a buyer is falling in love with a home without being fully prepared to actually buy it. Emotions will run high and strategy gets left by the wayside. So imagine this. You're fully pre-approved. You understand your numbers. You are ready to move forward. And when the right house comes along, you're ready, you're serious, you're prepared, and you're confident, and you can move forward with making the purchase. That confidence will show in your offer, in your negotiations, in your decisions. The sellers will feel that confidence. And more importantly, you will feel that confidence. Being prepared doesn't take the enjoyment out of buying a home. In fact, in my opinion, it actually makes the whole process more enjoyable. So let's bring it all together. Buying a home doesn't have to feel overwhelming or intimidating. Start with your numbers. Focus on your lifestyle, not just what looks good on paper. Get pre-approved before you go shopping. And never ever skip the steps that protect you, like inspections. And surround yourself with the right people who are going to take the time to explain things and have your best interests at heart. When you understand the process, you make better decisions, and better decisions lead to better outcomes and far fewer regrets. If this video helped you today, I'd love to hear from you. Drop your questions about home buying in the comments, because if you're thinking about it, I'm betting someone else is thinking about it too. And be sure to check out some of the other videos on my channel where I dive deeper into some of these topics like inspections, financial decisions, market conditions, or how to buy smart in today's market. And if you're thinking about buying a home here in Southwest Florida and you want a conversation that's going to be calm, data-driven, pressure-free, make sure to click the link below where you can schedule a one-on-one consultation with me today. Please make sure to like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you know when the new videos come up. Thank you so much for being here today. I'll see you on the next video.